I've literally ate this meal, right, every single day for months and months. You're like, what the fuck, you psycho? Who the fuck? Oh, let me just set you up. Look at that tower. Fuck, tower of fucking bread. What the fuck, you psycho? You eating the same fucking shit all the time? Yes. That's why I'm better than you. That's why my diet's more consistent. That's why I'm cutting better than you. That's why I'm bulking better than you. Have this food on a bulk and a cut. And it's been successful for both. That is the secret. Eating the same things every day. Make sure you're hitting your same calories every day. Decisions that you made months ago that you're still hitting constantly has so much security, helps you believe so much in the results that you are going to get. That is the key to success. Rather than waking up and thinking, oh, what am I going to have? What am I going to eat? How am I going to hit my calories? How am I going to restrict myself so I don't have too many calories? How am I going to hit my goals? I wake up and it's already there for me. I know what meal I'm going to have. I know where it's taking me, and I know I'm going to get the results I want. All for the beauty of fucking eggs, bro. The first thing that I want to stress to you is that it's a N of one diet that is going to work for you. And basically what that means in my head is it's a diet that has to specifically work for you. Not for your brother, not for your father, not for your mother, not for anyone else, not for your favourite influencer. That is definitely me, right? It has to be working for you. That is the key. So you know how you have an N of one experiment, which is where you experiment on yourself and you're the only one that does it, there's no other subjects. It is literally that. You have to experiment with your diet and find out what works for you. So a couple of questions that I've got for you is, has the work for you in your schedule? What time can you wake up? When can you eat? What time can you stop eating? When do you work? You need to work around all of these things and understand that. I cannot give you the formula. There is no just set rule that I can just pass on to you that makes you good at dieting. It doesn't exist. And I'm sorry to burst your bubble and, you're going to click off this video now because he hasn't done the top 7 tips to get a good diet. Number 1, don't eat sugary jam donuts, you fucking retard. Like, of course not, but there's no specific rule that I can give you, right? It's all down to us dealing with our circumstances and able to maneuver our way around it so we can then live healthily. That is literally it, your ability to understand your own routine, your own schedule, have the responsibility and the independability to be like, right, this is my routine, I've made it, this works for me, now I'm going to do it. Not relying on him or her or him or, whoever it may be to be like, oh, please make me a diet routine that works for me because I don't want to do any of the work. You sound like a child. To be honest with you, mate, you sound like a fucking child. So you need to understand your own routine and what works for you. So when do you eat? Ask yourself all these questions. When can you meal prep? All that sort of stuff. You need to eat around your schedule. That's the first thing. 2, is your food accessible, affordable, and cookable? Cookable isn't a word, but just allow me on this one. Is your food accessible? Can you buy it? Can you literally, if you had all the money in the world, can you go and get that food easily? Right? Is it affordable? Can you afford to buy that food? You're not going to buy a Wagyu steak when you can't afford it. You're not going to say, yeah, I'm going to eat Wagyu every day when it's ridiculously expensive and you can't afford it. And is it cookable? Can you make the meals? And the reason why this is important is because a lot of teenagers use the excuse of, oh, I can't have a good diet because my parents buy me loads of shit in and that means I can't eat a good diet. Bullshit, right? There's always going to be food in your house that's healthy. You need to understand what's healthy and how you can make that literally most of your diet. Worst comes to worst, bro, go up to your parents. Most people are fucking scared and they're going to click on a minute. Go up to your parents and talk to them. I don't know if you've ever heard of this concept, but you can talk to your parents, right? And what comes from that is what you want. Your parents love you, and well, maybe not some of you, but for the most of you, parents will love you. So when you speak to them and say like, yeah, I want to eat healthy, I want to do this, I want to do that, and talk to them like a real human being rather than just, can you do this, can you do that, bullshit. If you talk to them like a real human being, yeah, I want to do this, I'm going to do that, I have a goal to do this, can we buy these foods in? In a heartbeat, they'll do that. In a fucking heartbeat. It's just most of you are so socially inept that you're not going to be able to talk to your own fucking parents. And then you wonder why you don't get along with them. You wonder why you can't get a good diet. It's because you don't negotiate with the people that are buying your food, right? So stop making that excuse and just talk to your fucking parents. I can't believe I have to say this to certain people. They're your fucking parents, bro. That's like the least judge-worthy people ever to you, your parents. Come on, you've got nothing to fear. So before you say, oh, there's nothing in the house, yes, there is. You can ask them to buy it, but you need to understand what's accessible and affordable for you. So for me, we often get a lot of steak mince in, we get a lot of chicken in, we get a lot of steak in general in, like beef steaks. So I eat that because I know that we've got that in constantly, and I'm going to be able to sustain that diet for a long time because we've got it in, right? And what can I cook? I choose other things to cook. I cook sweet potato, I cook rice, I cook pasta, nothing special, but just things I know I can cook on a consistent basis because then I'm going to eat the diet. There's no point in me saying, right, I'm going to cook, this is just an example by the way, but I can cook 6 eggs, a steak medium rare, and sweet potato fries and asparagus when I don't know how to do any of that. There's no point in me doing that. Now, I can do that because I'm sick and amazing, but if I was someone who wasn't able to cook that, I would not put that in my diet plan because it's not cookable. So therefore, it's not accessible, and I'm not going to stay consistent. It's all well and good writing the foods down and saying, yeah, I'm going to eat this and I'm going to eat that, and it fits my macros perfectly, but if you can't cook it, and it's not accessible to you, and it's not affordable, you ain't going to eat it. You're going to then realise, oh shit, I can't cook it. What's the next best thing to do? I'll grab the easy stuff, and that's when you rely back onto your shitty habits of a terrible diet. You know, every time there's a area and a pocket of space where you don't know what you're going to eat, where you're not sure what the next meal is going to be, you're always going to reach and grab for the nearest and easiest thing. And that's why we need to make sure as quick as possible we can then make a routine where we're going to follow so that never happens. So there's never a time where I don't know what I'm going to eat. And we'll get onto that in the future. The second thing is whole foods versus macros propaganda. So you're like, yeah, okay, you need to make sure that, you know, you're eating like foods that are accessible to you and need to work for you, right? But what the fuck do I eat? Like, I don't have a clue what I eat. And most people think like they can eat whatever they want. There's propaganda going around saying like, oh, you can eat whatever you want and still got a good physique, yada yada yada. And technically that's true. Now don't fucking pause this video and go, oh yeah, he said I can eat whatever I want. Stop for a second. Technically that's true, but you're going to sacrifice your performance, your health, your attractiveness, your skin quality, your hair quality, your... That's a handful of things there already, bro. It's just off the top of my head, right? All because you're going to eat what you want. And you need to understand that's not going to work. You're going to have a worse physique by eating what you want as well, rather than just eating whole foods. Your gut's going to hurt, all that sort of shit that doesn't necessarily translate to the physique, but will impact your life in so many different ways. You need to remember, you are trying to build a physique, right? Understood. But you need to have a higher ambition than that. Most people want to build a good physique. Everyone wants to build a good physique. You need to have a higher ambition so it's worth doing. So you need to say, I want a good physique with a healthy diet. I want a good physique, super lean, and you're going to get super lean and look super good with whole foods. You know, I'm going to get a great physique with insane skin quality. Like, you need these things that are going to inspire you to do more, and that always comes down to eating whole foods. You're going to have a drastic improvement in your quality of life, your brain quality, your better studies with better whole foods and a better diet, better performance in the gym, more gains, right? Whole foods is so important for so many different areas of life that it's bound to translate back into the physique. So technically you can make a good physique whilst eating whatever you want, true, but you can make a better physique just by the effects that it has on the rest of your life by eating whole foods. And that's the message I want to get across, that if it fits your macros bullshit is a scam. Don't fucking fall for it. So you need to only eat whole foods. It is that simple. And all whole food is, I'm going to make it really simple, is a food with like no ingredients. So if you think about going into your freezer and you see, let me just move out the shot, bro. If you see going into the freezer and there's like freezer pizzas in there or whatever, the bullshit, just, you know, like the cardboard box packaging, you put them in the oven for 15 minutes or whatever. Read the back of that box where it has the ingredients and the nutrition on it. You can imagine there's a long list of really, really small writing of shit that you can't understand. That's just complete bullshit ingredients, right? You can imagine that. That's an example of a processed food, right? It's got so many ingredients you can't pronounce them. That's a processed food. Whole food is an opposite. So imagine you get a cucumber out of the fridge. You can't imagine there being an ingredient list on a cucumber. That's weird, right? There wouldn't be one because cucumber is the only ingredient. That's the example of the whole food. The food itself is the whole thing. That's how I you know, remember it. The food itself is the whole thing. That food is the only ingredient within that food. That's a whole food. And you want to compromise your diet with as much of these things as possible. That is when you're going to build true success. And that's going to propel you forward so much more than the rest of the competition. Everyone else is eating bullshit donuts. What's that shit in America called? Fucking... oh my god, it's gonna do my head in. The donuts. You're gonna shout at me through the screen, and you're gonna tell me, and it's gonna be really annoying because I can't fucking hear you. Crumble, cookie crumble. Fucking hell, there we go. Genius, right? Cookie crumble and Greg's and fucking all sorts, right? Everyone's eating that shit. So why not go one step higher, make progress one step quicker, and eat a fucking serious diet? How many teenagers you know that eat a serious diet? Right? None, effectively. How many teenagers you know that are flying through their A-levels and building a great physique? Basically none as well. I did that, me, through eating whole foods. So do the fucking same shit, bro. Just copy me and you'll get the success. The next thing we need to do is make a meal and ingredient list. You know how we talk about in step 1 that, you know, you should only work around a diet around your schedule. It has to fit around your schedule, and don't listen to any other influencer and don't carbon copy their diet because, you know, it may not work for you. We understand that. Now this is the step where we're going to make the diet schedule that can revolve around your lifestyle. That is making an ingredient list and then making a meal list from that ingredient list. So we have to eat whole foods, very important. So now what you're going to do is you're going to get a A4 piece of paper with a pen that preferably works, right? And you're going to write down 4 categories. And this is going to be, your categories are going to be protein, carbs, fruits and veg, and accessories. Oh, vegetables, technically carbohydrates. Shut the fuck up. We'll go through this in a minute, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to list 5 or 6 whole foods in each of these categories. I'll explain how that works in a minute. Basically, what that's going to do is create a 20 to 30 ingredient list that's going to compromise the rest of your diet. The rest of your diet can be used from this ingredient list to make all the meals and all the the diet plans, etc, etc. It's very, very, very simple. So what we're going to do is protein. What 5 or 6 sources of protein are accessible to you that you can cook that are going to fit your diet routine and that you can make very, very easily? So for me, it'll be things like steak, beef mince, chicken, white fish, and to be honest, that's probably it. If you want to be specific, it'd be like chicken breast and then chicken thighs to make 5, whatever it may be. Then they ask the same question for carbs. What 5 or 6 sources of carbs, starchy carbs, could I then use and make quite frequently, make quite easily, and it could be quite accessible to me to add to my diet? So it would be rice, white rice, brown rice. It would be sweet potato. It would be regular potatoes. Then probably penne pasta. 5. Done. Then fruit and veg. Again, I still have the same question. What 5 or 6 sources of fruit and veg would be accessible to me, would be good for my diet, would work for me? So for me, it'd be like cucumber, carrots, onions, kiwi, strawberries. Done. Now, accessories. What accessories are going to be useful for me in my diet that are accessible to me, that are whole foods, that will benefit my health? What the fuck's an accessory? An accessory is a food that doesn't fall into this category. Now, for example, it would be a egg, for example. So, you know, eggs in there. Your eggs got protein. Yeah, more like protein categories, more like, you know, meats category. Let's just change that real quick. So, eggs could be in there. You could include supplements like creatine. I personally wouldn't, just because like you've already got a limited amount as it is. You don't want to waste it on a supplement. So honey could be, Greek yogurt could be another one. Almond butter, things like that don't fall into the big categories of food that you're going to have in the rest. So what accessories could be good for you? So for me, I just named the ones that I just did. So it would be eggs. It would be almond butter. It would be probably salted butter, so, you know, like sticks of butter. Then it would be Greek yogurt. stuff like that. So now I have a list of ingredients instantly, bang, 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 bang. I've just done 5 minutes, and that if you follow along, you can replay it. Just keep thinking to yourself. It might not take you as quick as me, just because I've already decided mine. Like, just think. It'll take you 20 minutes max to find an ingredient list that you can use. Then from this ingredient list, you're going to make a set of meals. So you're going to plan out how many times a day, you're going to eat. Which is very important, because again, this is going to be specific to you, specific to me, and at what times as well. So think about your routine right now. What times can you eat and what times do you typically eat? Just because when you think about when you typically eat, it helps you remind yourself of what time you can actually eat, because you've been doing it already. So, right, for me, I would look at my day and I'd be like, right, I get up at 7 o'clock, fine, so I could probably eat at around 8, half 8. Bang, breakfast and then done. Then I could probably eat around 2 p.m, like 5 p.m, and then like 7 p.m. They're the times that I can eat. So I write that down. Right, I can eat at 8 a.m, 2 p.m, 5 p.m, 7 p.m. Now, once you have the times of the day that you can eat, you're going to then make scheduled meals from the ingredient list that you just made that you would eat at this time of the day. Done, right? So, for example, for me, right, I have eggs in my accessories. In my carbs, I have toast. Let's just say I have toast. All right, 8 a.m, I'm going to eat 6 eggs, 4 toast with salted butter and a coffee. Let's say that. That's my first meal, done. And I know the quantities already because I know how many calories I'm going to eat, but we'll get onto that in a minute. That's what I'm going to eat at that day. Then, in case I don't have them ingredients in, what substitute meal could I add in case, let's say, I don't have the toast or I don't have the eggs in? So, let's say eggs is a staple, right? Eggs is a staple for the breakfast. You should eat 4 to 10 eggs a day. Argue it with your wall. Actually, no. Argue in the fucking comments, please, because then you drive my algorithm up and I fucking need it. So, argue in the comments why I should eat 4 to 10 eggs a day. Bitch, pussy. While you're at it, you can like and comment and subscribe as well. Oh, doing all the analytics stuff. Yeah, I am, because it fucking works, bro. So, go and do that right now. So, let's say I don't have toasting. Maybe I'll do... What do you eat with eggs, bro, apart from toast? Maybe I'll do steak and eggs. Okay, breakfast, steak and eggs, bang. 1 12-ounce steak, 6 eggs. Done. Right? So, you need to make a, primary meal and secondary meal, like a backup meal for every hour that you will eat in the day. So, let's say you eat 4 times a day, you need to make a primary meal and a secondary meal for 4 meals in a day. That's perfect. And what that's going to do is it's going to create structure. So now you already know what you're going to eat at what time of the day. And worst comes to worst, if you don't have one of the ingredients in, you've got a backup as well. Perfect. Now you don't have to change a single fucking thing. Once we get through the next step, which is literally just your carb and macronutrient goals, you're going to be sorted. So let's move on to that really quick, and then we'll tie it all together. So, carb and macronutrient goals. You need to calorie and macronutrient goals, not carb, sorry. So you need to understand how many calories you're going to eat in a day and how much of each macronutrient, the main 3, which are protein, carbs, and fats, well done, in a day, right? I'm going to just spitfire them all the time because I say it all the fucking time. Calories, right? I've done so many videos on this. You should eat... you should know your maintenance for a start, which you could do by going caloriecalculator.net or whatever. Put all your metrics in, it'll give you a maintenance, right? Now, if you're bulking or cutting, depending on your fitness journey, I've made a video on this, should you bulk or should you cut? Go and search out my channel. If you're bulking, 200 calories above. If you're cutting, 300 calories below, right? Done. You should know how many calories you should be eating. Done. Right now. Quick. 30 seconds. Done. Now, macronutrients. You should be eating 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So measure your body weight in pounds, not kilos, not stone. Convert it into pounds, times that by 0.8, times that by 1.2. That's the amount of grams of protein you should have in a range. Done. All the time. So for me, I weigh 81 kilo. So that is about... how many pounds is that? 175 pounds-ish, around there, just off the top of my head. So now I should know I should be in between... Well, what's that? 175 times 0.8, that's the lower half. 175 times 1.2, that's the higher half. So around 150 to 200 grams of protein. If I'm rounding in that range, I'm good. Carbs, we'll move on to that in a second. Fats first. zero point 0.5 grams of fat per pound of body weight. Again, convert your body weight into pounds, half it, that's how many grams of fat you should have every single day. And then fill the rest up with carbs. Fill the rest of the calories up with carbs. So let's say you have 150 grams of protein a day or 200 grams of protein a day, you have 90 grams of fat in a day, then you just should have like 400 grams of carbs. That'd be sound, right? Now you know all this stuff, you know what your calorie and macronutrient goals are. You're then going to adjust the amount that you have in each meal. Sorry, bro, my voice is literally going as we speak. I'm back. So you're going to adjust how much you have of each meal to then fit your calorie and macronutrient goals. And MyFitnessPal is a very, very, very good app for this, because what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to set these calorie and macronutrient goals, so it's always like presented in your diary. Then you're going to go on your diary, put in your meals, and then adjust the amount. And then once you put all your meals in, and just check at the bottom, are you hitting the calories, are you hitting your macronutrient goals, and just fiddle around with it and play around with it. This may take a few minutes, you know, may take a while, but it's quite fiddly and quite annoying. But once you get it there, you've got the right amount of protein, the right amount of carbs, the right amount of fats. The beauty of it is you don't have to touch it ever again. You just know, right, I'm going to eat this at this time, eat that at that time, eat that at that time, and I'm hitting my calorie and macronutrient goals every single day, and my diet is perfect with whole foods, and it's done. That's the great thing about this entire process. It's lethargic, annoying to go through. You know, it may take you an hour, whatever, how long it takes you, but once it's done, it is done, and all you have to do is remember it. So write it on your fucking wall, be mental and put shit on your fucking wall, like me, and then you just have to do that every single day. And the beauty of it is it becomes a habit. That's the key. Rather than thinking, what am I going to eat today? What am I going to eat today? I need to lose weight. I need to gain weight. How am I going to gain weight? How am I going to lose weight? How much protein am I getting in? There's so many things to consider, and it's literally fucking up your brain. So now you can't study. Now you can't pay attention in class. Now you can't do well in your exams. Now you can't put attention into your fitness journey and your gym progress and in your workout sessions because you're too busy thinking about the fucking food. All that doesn't have to happen if you just set one thing and follow it all the time. And you know what's crazy? I don't even have it up on my wall anymore. If you could zoom in, yeah, you could see that I don't have shit on my wall anymore, right? I don't have the diet on my wall anymore because I know it in my brain automatically all the fucking time. It's in there. It is in there, right? So I could recite it. Do you want me to recite it? Yeah? I'll recite it. 6 eggs, 4 toast, a tablespoon of tomato sauce, because I just can't eat eggs on its own, 50 grams of cheese, and a coffee. Done. Right. Second meal, right? 50 grams of cheese is a lot of fat. Shut the fuck up, Gimp. Cholesterol, shut up. Nerd. Second meal, 300 grams of white chicken breast. Don't know why I said white. And it's, what is it now? I can recite it, come on. 1 cup of uncooked brown rice. Bang. Just as I flip between pasta and rice a little bit. And then final meal is a family meal, so we'll have like a spaghetti bolognese, or we'll have a pasta bake, or we'll have a lasagna, or something like that. Great. 800 calories around there roughly, just because we have the same portion sizes. And then at like 8 p.m, it's a cup of Greek yogurt, a cup of strawberries, a cup of grapes, a whole kiwi. Bang, done. It's in my brain. You see how it's in my brain? That's going to happen to you. That's going to happen to you, and now you're going to have to never think about it ever again, and that's the fucking beauty of it. That's the beauty of this whole process. It's fucking great. A quick little meal hack technique. So, I don't know how to meal prep and yada 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 for I've got work in the morning, so I can't cook at 3 p.m. Problem solved. All you have to do is make sure you've got enough time in your day to make breakfast. Right? So we said, work on your routine. Make sure you've got enough time to eat breakfast in the morning. So eat breakfast at 7, 8 a.m, 5 a.m. if you fucking have to. I don't know what your work schedule's like. Again, that's something for you to decide. Take responsibility. But just make breakfast, and if you meal prep your dinner whilst you're eating your breakfast, because obviously typically you'll have school or college and you may have work already and stuff like that, and you can't cook at like 2 p.m. because you're in a job or you're in work or you're in class, you know? So make it while you're making your breakfast, and this is very good because one, you've already got the ingredients accessible to you, and two, you're in the flow of cooking, so you don't have to spend 3 hours on a Sunday cooking meals, storing them in the freezer, defrosting them, tasting like shit, and then it's just demotivating you. No, you can just make it in the morning. It still be relatively decently like quality, and you can enjoy your food, and you're already in the flow of cooking. You don't have to waste any extra time. It's great. So a tactic that if you're struggling with meal prep and stuff like that, cook your dinner or your meal prep meal with your breakfast, and I guarantee you will never skip meal prepping ever again. Get into the habit of defrosting food. That was a thing that I had to get used to. Get into a habit of defrosting food the night before. Make it part of your night routine if you have to. Set an alarm if you have to. You have to get used to defrosting, because when you wake up in the morning and there's nothing chicken defrosted and now you can't make your meal, you're going to be pissed. You're going to eat some fatty food and fucking ruin your diet. So it all starts with the defrosting. Get into a habit of defrosting. Get into a habit of meal prepping in the morning. Done. And the fifth thing, the one question that you've had for this entire video, isn't it going to be boring if we eat the same things every day? What the fuck? Why? It's going to be so boring. I'm not going to be able to do that. I can't do that. The reason why you can't do that is because you think you can't do that. Trust me. You can cook food in a slightly different way. It's not going to make a difference. 1, to spice things up. 2, you can add a little bit of seasoning. It isn't going to make a difference to spice things up. 3, you can add a little bit of sauce, like I do with my breakfast, to spice things up. It's not going to be fucking boring. And the key is, the truth is repetitiveness is success. That is true. When it's repetitive, you should get excited because it means you're going to be successful. Because you don't have to keep switching from one to the other, waking up and having to put all the mental capacity into what am I going to eat, what am I going to eat, what am I going to eat. Because that's bullshit. Sorry, bro, my throat is dying today. And it's bullshit. And, you know, you're not going to make anywhere near as much success. Whereas the vision of you that, you know, knows what you're doing, is progressively overloading constantly towards one thing. Like if you translate this over to the gym, the guy that's picking one exercise and sticking to one exercise constantly and getting better is going to be stronger and bigger at the end of the day, compared to the person that is, you know, doing this exercise 1 week, then that exercise the next week, then that exercise the next week, you know? So keep it the same. Competitiveness is key. Again, sleep. When you sleep at the same time every day, it's actually proven that that is the best factor to allow you to have good sleep. So repetitiveness is success in every realm of life, and it's the exact same with diet as well. Don't overlook it. Breastfeeders don't overlook diet, and that's why they look like shit. Don't overlook it like I did for the first few years of my fitness journey. Don't fail at 5 million different diets. Just follow this. You'll have the greatest diet in about a week, and then you won't have to think about it ever again. And you'll be healthy for as long as you can possibly imagine. And you'll build the best physique along the way as well. Isn't that fucking great, bro? So, or do all the analytic stuff, like, comment, subscribe, yada, 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 whatever. Boring bullshit. It actually does work. That's why I'm telling you to do it. I wouldn't tell you to do it otherwise. And first link in the description is my course. Now, we give more advice like this and so much more. We walk you through how to make a really, really good physique, all the setbacks you'd experience. We give you diet plans. We give you workout routines that are downloadable in one click, from 1 day workout routines to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 day workout routines. So it doesn't matter what schedule you've got, doesn't matter where you are, how busy you are, we've made a workout routine that can work for you in your weekly schedule to make you some amazing gains. Doesn't matter. Isn't that insane? It's the half the price of FIFA. So if you want to send your entire squad into a fucking icon pack to get Fran Lampard, be my fucking guest. Or you could join the program and build the best physique you could ever possibly build. Right? It's fucking amazing. You have massive access to me, massive access to loads of boys who are also in there, that are enjoying the journey, that are like you. You know? A group of like-minded people, bro. It's fucking sick, right? You can stop getting bullied in the school now. And also, my Instagram and TikTok are in the description. All DMs are open for messages and advice. I'd love to give you boys advice for free. So if you want to give me a message, be a bit cheeky, whatever, send me a message. I'll guarantee I'll reply, bro. I'm happy to give enough advice. And yeah, without further ado, boys, have a good session. Lightweight, baby. And I'll see you later.